A beautiful day in Franklin, Tennessee. We have some lovely homeowners that have opened up their beautiful backyard and their pond area for us to visit. We're here today with Charlie Hart. Hey, Charlie.
Good morning, good morning.
I want to know about this pond. Tell me how it evolved.
This pond was a labor of love and craziness at the same time. When we moved into the yard, I always wanted a pond. And when I said I'm going to make a pond, my wife said, by the way, our daughter's getting married in about 2 months. What are you thinking? And I said, well, I can get it done in a month's time. Well, it took a month. We started on October 4th and ended like on October 28th, but it was all done by hand. We dug it out. We had to lay all the rocks. I will say there were some sore shoulders after that, a little rotator cuff injuries, but it got it all done. And it's, I mean, it's so nice to be able to come out here every morning and see the fish and
Had you had a pond before?
We had never had a pond before. It'd always been a goal, but...
For those that have never had a pond, what was your biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge was probably digging through 3 feet of clay.
Okay.
And you can't bring in a bulldozer or a backhoe. It all had to be done by hand to be able to do it right.
I noticed some netting. What's that all about?
Yeah, so when we first put the pond in, we didn't have the netting. And as you know, there's a nice lake at the front of our development, and there's a lot of blue herons down there. And so we see a lot of blue herons flying over all the time. And I came out one day and there was a blue heron standing in the middle of the pond with a lot of fish scales all around it and a number of fish missing. So
he was eating a little sushi, huh?
He was eating a little fresh sushi. So we've had blue herons in here, we've had green herons in here. So that led to the need for the net if we want to keep the fish.
So I noticed you have a beautiful red Japanese maple. I love the contrast between the chartreuse of the hostas back there. Mm-hmm. I see in that same color tone, you have a heuchera there also in that beautiful red tone.
Well, we again, the maple was a tree that we really liked maples, and we wanted something that was going to be small enough to not block our view from the kitchen looking out into the pond. And then the hostas and the heuchera that we had, we just weren't probably thinking all the colors at the time. We just maybe got lucky, and actually it all worked out really nice with the light greens and the red of the heuchera as well.
So tell us a little bit more about the other plant material. I see you've got obviously some water lilies, and you have umbrella.
We have the umbrella pond. When I bought those, we were told that they probably wouldn't overwinter, and these are now going on their 5th year, and they just keep spreading and spreading.
They look pretty
and
happy, yeah.
And so, you know, we started off with a couple of small plants, and now we're where we are. I actually have to cut them back because they take up too much space. And the lilies, again, they're in there every year, and we get beautiful flowers coming out of that.
You have some Siberian iris.
We have some Siberian iris that are there. We had some in the lake, in the pond as well.
Some Walker's Low catmint.
We do that, and then we've also got the sun patience that are going in there.
And like how you've incorporated some driftwood, where did that come from?
We had a house on Timswood Reservoir near here, and we saw those up on the property coming up from the lake and thought, those would make it look more natural. So that's what we were trying to get, is that natural feel.
And you were telling me, and it's obvious, that you love turtles. Tell me about the turtle.
Well, we have a lot of artificial turtles here, but this last winter we were traveling, and we had the young man taking care of our pond said, there's a turtle about this big in your pond. It just showed up today. What should I do? And I went, well, it's natural, leave it. And we weren't sure if it was going to eat the fish or not, but it turned out it overwintered, and it just laid down in the algae and the moss there, and about March it just disappeared one day. So we had a nice, safe overwintering, and where he went, I have no idea.
Wonderful, wonderful. I love the combination you have here. You have some herbs, you have some flowers. Tell me about this plot here.
This was initially designed to be sort of our hummingbird, butterfly, bird sanctuary, so to speak. And you know, it's been a bit of, over the last 5 years, trial and error to get certain things to come up. You can see on the front we've got some dill here. This is actually volunteer dill from last year.
It's very happy.
It just reseeds itself. We put in some new basil, some rosemary. We had a big rosemary plant last year that unfortunately didn't make it over the winter with the freeze. So
you and everybody else.
We're starting again. I love the zinnias because, you know, you just plant a few seeds and they pop up and they grow fast and they give you beautiful flowers. It's the biggest hassle is making sure you keep cutting them back down, or else they get, you know, as tall as you and me. I'm a lover of dahlias. We put in dahlias last year for the first time. They didn't do so much. but this year they've come up really well. And again, we just left them in the ground over the winter. Some of the other bulbs we've got, you know, we're a shot in the dark from my perspective, but they're doing really, really well.
The red hot pokers,
Yes.
showing us how pretty they can be right now.
And we have a bunch more of those coming up, so that's nice. And then these hysops, these are really good for the bees, and also we get a lot of the hummingbirds will feed off of those. And we get a lot of goldfinches on these as well,
Oh, yeah.
which is really nice.
Then there's Lucifer, the devil itself, because it's very invasive.
Well, I'm going to find out, I guess.
Yes.
We have two plots of them, so we'll find out how that goes.
And your vine?
The clematis, those have been in now for probably 4 or 5 years.
Again, I think it might be really happy there because it gets a little bit of shade in the
Yeah.
morning.
And they just keep coming back every year. I cut them way back down to nothing, and in the spring, off they go.
We're visiting your little vegetable patch. Lunch is served?
Lunch is served. It's, you know, we've had this every year now since we moved in. I mean, we have some jalapenos up front, some arugula, which obviously is going to seed, so that's pretty much end. A couple of different kinds of lettuce, some spinach. We've got 3 different tomatoes that I planted this year, plus a whole series of volunteers that are coming up. There must be 500 tomato plants that come up every year, and I'm just plucking them out. But we love it because, I mean, for lunch we come out, we pick fresh lettuce, you know, fresh spinach, get some tomatoes off the vine. We have some Oregon pea pods back there, and all that goes into lunch every day, or salads for dinner. So I really love being able to come out here and get that fresh food all the time.
It's definitely an advantage. Well, I don't know if the viewers can hear it, but there certainly is a lovely sound in the background. Tell me about what you have going on here.
Well, I'm a big fan of the birds that come into the yard, and with the trees behind us, obviously it's a good home for them. But we've got 3 different bird feeders right now. You can see we've got some cowbirds on there. Here comes a dove flying in. We've got a hummingbird feeder, which will feed there as well as all the flowers. I think this morning alone I've seen like 12 or 13 different species of birds come into the feeders. I love the goldfinches, the male goldfinches. We see those a couple times a year.
What about bluebirds?
We see some eastern bluebirds fairly often, and we saw the red-breasted grosbeaks this year. We had a couple of pairs hanging around for about 2 weeks, and they are just gorgeous birds as well.
And you were telling me about you had baby bluebirds.
We had baby wrens this year.
Oh, wrens, okay.
So we have a birdhouse back in the corner there, our bluebird house, and we had a wren family set up there.
Those little stinkers.
And we, you know, it's funny because we have a wren that will nest in our wreath on our front door.
Yeah.
And so after that, it kind of leaves, and then we saw it nesting back there. And we were fortunate to come out one day just as the birds were fledging. So we saw mom and dad standing right in front, on the bird house, and all of a sudden a baby bird flops out, and then it flies away, and then we saw 4 more come out. So we have pictures of all 5 of the babies kind of hopping around on the ground. It was a wonderful morning.
Do you continue feeding your birds summer, winter, fall, all the time?
We put feed out all year long.
Any
yeah.
particular kind you'd like to share?
Costco's best.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong
Costco's
with
best,
that. No.
yeah.
So you don't worry about specific seed for specific birds?
We don't. That's a mixture of seeds. So I mean, we get all kinds of birds, and then what the birds knock on the ground, the squirrels and chipmunks come in and take care of.
Right. So we've got a fenced-in yard.
We do.
What's behind this back fence?
Behind the back fence is a green belt, actually. So we've got another house that's probably about 40 yards over, so this is going to stay a green belt. We have deer running back and forth in there. We have rabbits. We have armadillos coming out. What I like about this, though, is because it's a great place for all the birds to have nests and stuff. So, I mean, that's probably why we get so many birds at our feeders. One thing we do have on occasion is we see hawks coming through here. There's a hawk nest up here. This last summer, at one point, we had 3 hawks sitting on the fence back here. No birds around during that time period.
I wonder why.
But it's pretty impressive to see 3 hawks like that all standing there together.
So I bet these knockout roses were beautiful about 3 days ago before we got that hard rain.
Yeah, the thing I like about these is that, you know, you cut them back when they die and they just bloom again. So we get blooming all summer long on those.
And you have one of my favorite old-fashioned shrubs, spirea.
Yes, they, again, you know, you can cut them back really hard and you think they're not going to grow, and then boom, there they are.
I
the
always
flowers
think of
come
my
out.
grandma or my great aunt when I think of spirea. I don't know why. It's a mental thing, I guess. And then your hydrangeas are doing awesome back here.
Yeah, they're doing a wonderful
Are you
job.
watering them every day back here?
They get watered probably about every 3 or 4 days, but we've had a lot of rain, so I haven't had to water as much because of that.
Great. This bed, or this flower bed, seems wide, but it seems small because of how you've planted it. It's great. You've got some crepe myrtles and some shrubs going on to make it nice and full. Doesn't look bare.
Well, when we started the backyard, I mean, it was literally a blank canvas for us. It was just grass with nothing else. And so I designed kind of how we wanted some curvature to it. I wanted a gate to be able to get out back. But I also wanted to make sure we kept enough grass for the kids to put up volleyball nets and badminton nets and play baseball and football out here. So I think, you know, it's worked out nice to give us a nice backdrop. We're pleased how it's turned out.
Well, Charlie, I want to tell you thank you very much for sharing your beautiful lawn, your beautiful yard, your beautiful flower beds, your pond, and all your fun stories. Thank you for sharing with our viewers and with me.
Thank you for coming in and letting me share it with you. I appreciate it.
If you like gardening, you'll want to subscribe to this channel. We showcase gardeners, plants, and the joy that growing can bring.